हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू दिस चैनल। तो यह वीडियो 18 सेंचुरी के ब्रिटिश नोवेल का आंसर का पार्ट 2 वीडियो है। अगर आपने फर्स्ट वीडियो को नहीं देखा है तो ऊपर आई बटन पर क्लिक करके फर्स्ट वीडियो को देख सकते हैं। तो चलिए वीडियो को कंटिन्यू करते हैं। तो हमारे सेकंड राइटर है जोनाथन स्विफ्ट। जोनाथन स्विफ्ट was the greatest satirist of his age. Using irony and satire, he tried to change his own society and attacked it at all levels. Together with Alexander Pope and others, he established the Scribblers Club, an association of witty writers who satirized their contemporaries. People of his own time failed to see the irony, and sometimes they cried shame. An Anglican priest, he was appointed Dean of St. Patrick Cathedral in Dublin, where he was buried. Swift is remembered for his masterpiece Gulliver Travel, a novel that, like Robinson Crusoe, is nowadays regarded as the book for children and as an anticipation of the modern fantasy novel. Actually, the book was intended to be a bitter satire of his own country. Swift himself wrote to Pope that it was intended to vex the world rather than divert it. The novel satirizes the follies and the vice of politicians and scholars and is a very serious comment on politics, on learning, and all on mankind. It shows Swift's bad opinion on people. He maintains that man is not a reasonable animal but an animal endowed with reason, which he is not always able to use in the right way. Gulliver's Travels tells the various imaginary voyages of Lemuel Gulliver, a surgeon on a ship, to various strange lands where he meets several man-like creatures. The philosophical basis of the whole novel is in the contrast between rationality and animality. In the first book, he is shipwrecked near Lilliput, where he meets a race of teeny people only 6 inches tall, and he is a giant among them. Rationality is represented by the Lilliputians with their organized society and their deep knowledge of mathematical science, in contrast with Gulliver, described as the big body. Whereas in Book 2, the situation is reversed, as he is in the Brobdingnag, the lands of giants, and he is a dwarf among them. The giants embody animality while Gulliver rationality. In the third book, he visits the flying island of Laputa, inhabited by scientists concerned with abstract ideas. In the last book, he is in the land of the Hainems, intelligent horses that that can talk. They are perfectly rational and virtuous. They have man-like slaves, the Yahoos, who are bestial, irrational, and vicious. Gulliver himself is seen by the Haims as a Yahoo. In these various countries, Gulliver explains to the inhabitants about life in Europe and in particular in England. What Gulliver says is how things should be, not how they are. And so his words become an ironical attack on what he is describing. In the first book, he attacks the English government and the hypocrisies of the party system. In the second book, he attacks the judicial and the political system in Britain, aiming at stressing the hypocrisy and corruption practiced in the institutions. In the third book, there is an attack on science and on members of the Royal Society, while in the fourth and last, he attacks man when he come home after his rescue. He cannot accept to him like human race any longer. The human being appear to him like the Yahoos, and he goes to live in a stable while the company of horses. Swift was not insensible to the suffering of the Irish, and he was indignant at their exploitation by the British government. The Irish people lived on bad conditions. He wrote and published a work in defense of Ireland, modest proposal from preventing the children of poor people from being a burden of their parents of the country, which was a new attack against the English. Using satire, he explained that the misery of the starving Irish could be easily relieved by selling their children to the rich as food. There was also another benefit for the Irish. It should have solved the problem of overpopulation of Ireland too. It was of course a provocation, but at the times some forcing readers took it as an actual and serious one, and there was a quite scandal. Our third writer is Richardson. Samuel Richardson is considered as the mentor of the epistolary novel and the father of the novel of sentimental analysis. He introduced psychological studies of the characters. He started his career as a novelist quite late in his life, when some booksellers asked him to help the uneducated in their correspondence, writing a sequence of letters dealing with everyday subjects. Among these letters were to be included some to instruct pretty servant girls to protect their virtue. He liked this idea also because when he was at school, he used to be the advisor of girls who wanted to correspond with their sweethearts. He decided to make a novel from letters and wrote Pamela, or Virtue Rewarded. He chose an actual case he has heard of, in which a virtuous 15-year-old maidservant who worked in a rich household had rested her master's advances. तो ये था आंसर 15 और 20 नंबर्स के लिए, 20 मार्क्स के लिए. So if you find this video helpful, then do like the video and subscribe this channel. प्लीज़. So मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.